Ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about Hikaru Nakamura. There's been lots of discussion around him. First and foremost, Hikaru Nakamura is one of the best players in the world. He has been in the last two candidate cycles, he's been in the last two candidates matches, and is very, very unlucky to not have competed in a World Championship match. In the candidates in 2023, he finished in third place. In the final round, he was in second. A draw would have seen him finish second, which we know now would have been enough to get him a World Championship match against Jan Nepomniachtchi. However, he lost to Ding Liren, and the rest, as they say, is history. Ding Liren would go on and defeat Jan Nepomniachtchi on tiebreaks on the fourth tiebreak game, and he would be crowned world champion. Hikaru would try again in 2025. No, 2024. And then the candidates was 2022. Sorry, got the years wrong. He would be in contention going into the final round, but most likely a draw or a win would have seen him finish second or tied for first. He did not win. Gukesh won the candidates. And as they say, the rest is history. He would go on to face Ding Liren in 2024. And he would win the World Championship. Now, Hikaru Nakamura is seeking to qualify for the candidates once again. That is what all of this is about. As I now hide the slideshow and show you, this is what all the discussion is about. The candidates cycle. Oh boy, is there lots of discussion about this. Now, firstly, Hikaru Nakamura is seeking to take the rating spot. What does that mean? The rating spot is one of the 8 ways to qualify for the candidates. Now, we know Fabiano Caruana, as you can see on screen, if you're not listening on podcast, has qualified. He won the 2024 FIDE circuit. Anish Giri, for winning the FIDE Grand Swiss, is in. Matthias Blubom, by the hair of his chin, I don't know if he's clean shaven or not, has got the second spot from the FIDE Grand Swiss, despite tying with Alireza Firouzja and fellow German Vincent Keimer. There will be 3 more spots determined at the FIDE World Cup, which could go to anybody. The 2025 FIDE circuit is all but won by Pragnananda Ramesh Babu. And so that leaves the rating spot. The rating spot goes to the player who is the highest rated player that has not qualified in the other 7 spots, so by the Grand Swiss, by the circuit, by the World Cup. That would go to Magnus Carlsen, just to be clear. He is uninterested in playing for the World Championship. So that means it would go to Hikaru Nakamura. However, in order to get the rating spot, you need to play a certain number of games. And you obviously still need to be the highest rated player. So Hikaru has elected to not play the Grand Swiss, to not play the World Cup. And he is going and playing a bunch of so-called Mickey Mouse tournaments. His own words. And to be fair, he's being completely honest about what he's doing. He's like, look, people are going to be upset. He's going to upset people. But this is about qualifying for the candidates. And if this FIDE fixed the system, and this wasn't a problem, if they got rid of the rating spot, Hikaru would have to do it another way. He would have had to play the Grand Swiss. He would have to play in the World Cup. He'd have to play more prestigious events to be in contention for the circuit. So this is a very much hate the game, don't hate the player. This is my view. People are saying it's not right what Hikaru's doing. At the end of the day, it's the rules. This one falls on FIDE, not on Hikaru. Hikaru played the Louisiana State Championship. Went perfect. I think it was like 9 out of 9. And you know, he's been telling stories, and whether they're true or not, I'm 100% they're true, but there might be some people who doubt them. Like, how cool is it to be to rock up to the Louisiana State Championship where there's like 2 title players, and the rest are just 1400s, 1500s, 1800s, and you see Hikaru Nakamura, the second best player in the world, according to the ratings, which go off that as you will. How cool is that? Like, I'm just trying to think, as a South African, that's like the only GM we have, like Kenny Solomon, rocking up at my local event. Not even like the SA Open, which I played in the year, just a random event. The best player in the country just rocks up. That's awesome. For those players, it's awesome. You get to play Hikaru Nakamura. It doesn't matter if you lose. What happens if you draw him? It'll be amazing. It's a story to tell. One day, I was just playing the Louisiana State Championship. Hikaru Nakamura rocked up. He's played 2 of these events. I think he's got 11 games left to play in order to guarantee the rating spot. You have to play 40 games. And I think he's played about 29. Because he's played 2 of these events. One was in Louisiana, and then there was another one. I think it was Michigan. He played in that Michigan State Championship or something like that. And so he's going to play like 1 or 2 more. Because some of them are 9 rounds, some of them are a bit shorter or longer. So he'll probably play 1 or 2 more. He'll get the number of games. Now, to be clear, and Hikaru stated this, he's not farming rating. This isn't about gaining rating, because, let's be clear, he's like 2,800, right? Beating a player 400 points or lower than you, so basically, if he beats an IM who's 2,300 or 2,400, he gains 0.8 rating. Now, there was a rule that you could only do this like twice in a tournament. That's been changed. So he could just beat everybody and gain 0.8 rating. So in theory, by the time the 40 games is done, he will be at his peak rating, and he will be about 10 points or so behind Magnus Carlsen. He has stated he's not farming rating. He's not going off to the number 1 rating spot. So if Magnus wants to do the funniest thing ever and take the rating spot, he could do so. However, I don't think Magnus Carlsen would get it, because I don't think Magnus Carlsen is playing enough classical games. He's perfectly content to play Title Tuesday and the freestyle events and 1 or 2 classical tournaments, and that is it. He plays like Norway chess and 1 or 2 other select events, and that is it. So I don't think Magnus even qualifies for it, despite having the highest rating, because he doesn't play enough games. Hikaru's playing the games, and he's taking the rating spot. That is what is happening. If you do not like that, I perfectly understand. I'm still mixed about it, but I do not blame Hikaru. And by far, this is the least controversial way the rating spot has gone in the last couple of years. Because in that 2022 candidates that I mentioned, where Hikaru suffered a painful defeat in the final round, Ding Liren got in on the rating spot. But in order to get that rating spot, the Chinese government, Chinese Chess Association or whatever, organized for him to play his 40 games in like 30 days. They got in like 3 top Chinese GMs or whatever, and he just played. Like 2 games a day, 1 game a day, just played. Like 40 games in like 30 days. And he did well enough to not lose all his rating. I think he did end up taking a negative, but he was still then the highest rated player, and he qualified for the candidates. And I'm pretty sure he lost that first game of the candidates. So I was like, oh, well, he got here, so I guess he's going to have fun. Because remember, this was during the pandemic. He couldn't travel. So that's why they organized all the games in China. It was a little bit dubious. Yanni Pornish is still going on about it. Because of course, he might still be a little bit salty that Ding Liren defeated him. But we leave that there. Then last year was very exciting. The last cycle was very exciting because there were a number of players in contention for the rating spot. Ali Reza Firouzja was the favorite, but so was Wesley So. They were very close in rating. So were some of the Indians. Arjun was nearby, Prague was nearby, and so on. And so was Lanier Dominguez Perez, because he did a great tournament, gained a whole bunch of rating, and suddenly he was in contention. So starting with him, he flew to play another tournament quickly in Spain, but ended up making a couple of draws against lower rated players, and suddenly dipped rating, he pulled out the tournament, that was him done. Ali Reza Firouzja, the French Chess Association or whatever, I say whatever because I can't remember exactly if it was the French government or if it was the Chess Association, but they organized a tournament for him against a couple of like old French grandmasters. And he went like 6 out of 6 against them, but in a strange way, not playing that final round would have actually been better. He would have going 5 out of 5 was better than going 6 out of 6. So he didn't gain enough rating. So he enrolled and did what like Hikaru did. This wasn't about playing games, this was about purely rating. He rocked up to some random French village and played a chess tournament, won like 500 euros for winning it, and was playing like 16, 1800s and gaining his 0.8 or whatever, and ultimately he got the rating spot. There was also controversy around a chess tournament in India that had been organized, and a couple of the Indian players were playing in it and doing really, really well and gaining rating. And there was controversy because Wesley So and Anish Giri, who were around the rating spot at the time, weren't playing any games. And they didn't get invited to this event, and they weren't just organizing random events. And they also didn't enroll any of these Mickey Mouse tournaments. So they missed out. I think the spot ultimately went to Ali Reza Firouzja, who struggled again in the candidates. He's had 2 candidates appearances and has really struggled. So it's interesting. So the rating spot's always been contentious. Let's make that perfectly clear. I would get rid of it, but I also know nothing. I do know that you should subscribe, but beyond that, how I would have it work is a different video for a different day. I think you can create a very strong candidate without the need for a rating spot. I understand why it exists. It's to make sure that the strongest player in the world, who's not qualified by other means, is there. In this case, if you're just looking at the ratings, number 1 player in the world doesn't want to play. Number 2 player in the world would not qualify. Number 3 in the world is there. Number 4 in the world, I think at the moment, is Arjun Erigaisi. Unless he finishes top 3 in the World Cup, he would not be there. Then you've got the world champion Gukesh. Prague looks like he's going to do fine. So, out of 8 players, ideally you would want all of them to be top 10, then the world champion and Magnus Carlsen. That's not going to happen. Anish Giri is a top 10 level player, so he'll be fine. Matthias Blubom is a fantastic player. He showed it in Grand Swiss. I don't think he's a top 20 player, and he's in the candidates. And you're thinking, well, who's going to miss out? We haven't spoken about Yanni Pomnishi. We haven't spoken about Ding Liren. I don't think he's ever going to play in the candidates again, to be frank. I love Ding Liren so much, but I don't think it's going to happen. So the rating spot existing makes a lot of sense. You want the strongest players there. But is it being administered the right way? And do we really need it? I mean, if these top players aren't winning the required events and playing well in the circuit, are they really top players, or are they just protecting their rating? I'll let you tell me, and tell me what you think in the comments below, or wherever you can tell me. You can reach me on X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on everything, except Snapchat.